Hey, Julian here from Homer Marketing, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to master the art of laziness. And the reason why this is super important is because you will actually get influenced by this word a lot more than you think. And so if you haven't been really able to grow your business, if you've been distracted or, you see a lot of hard work and it's, you don't really do it, or I'm telling you, watching this video will actually change your life. It's changed the life of everybody I've shown this to before actually recording this video. It's changed the life of one of my friends. He actually stopped his business entirely because he thought he was lazy. And then I actually did this. I made this whole thing for him actually. He looked at it, he saw it, and now he's actually back on track in his business doing better than ever. So if you want to do better than ever, then watch this video. And by the way, this is also inspired from some of the guys like Alex Hormozi, which are doing like $200 million a year. So don't even just take it from me, take it from that guy, take it from the people that this have helped. And let's dive right in. So this document and presentation and video will basically help you overcome and weaponize laziness to your absolute advantage so you can get anything done extremely efficiently, and you will basically become a master of the art of laziness. So intro. Now, why was this created? Well, I'm basically tired of people who say that they're too lazy to do something. And that's just because you don't understand what they're talking about, right? When, people say that they're lazy in one thing and then they turn around and then they go run a marathon. It's like, how can you really just be a lazy person if you're lazy in one thing but not in the other thing, right? Is that really laziness? Do you really understand it? And so this is the mindset switch that I want to bring to you, right? The definition of lazy is actually unwillingness to work or use energy. Interesting. So if you redefine laziness as, instead of I am lazy, you say I am unwilling to use more energy than is required. That's really all it means, right? Okay, great. Now we're defining something. And if you think about it, that's totally human. Because see it this way. If you think that lazy just means energy efficient, well, humans are designed to be energy efficient. In nature, where food isn't in abundance in a supermarket, humans can't afford to spend more energy on things that weren't crucial to their survival or aren't crucial to their survival, right? Like think bow hunting or stuff like that, from people who don't have the technology that we have in first world countries, right? Like they can't, you can't just go buy a piece of meat. You have to actually be energy efficient for survival. And so number one, this just gave you permission to feel like you are lazy. But instead of being lazy, let's just say that laziness doesn't actually exist. From now on, you can no longer say I'm lazy ever. All right. I'm going to use the word in this document, but you can't say it. And because laziness doesn't exist, well, you can't be lazy, right? It doesn't exist. So zero part of you is lazy. You are simply energy efficient. From now on, instead of being like, oh, I'm too lazy to do it, you say, I'm too energy efficient to do it. Because that's going to make you think. Now, why does that matter? Why does this have anything to do with business? It's simply because if you constantly label yourself as somebody that is lazy, especially if it's in your business or in your personal life, it'll creep into your business. And you will start to act like you are lazy. And what people think laziness is, people don't think that laziness is energy efficiency. But now you do, so you can use that to your advantage. But most people think that being lazy is just not wanting to do it. So if you tell yourself, oh, I don't really want to do it, then what is going to happen? You're going to not want to do other things in your business that are important. And so that's why this is super important. It's super important, number one, to understand laziness, but to know how to weaponize it, which I'm going to get into a little bit later in the video. So that's why that's it. That's important. And by the way, if you want to know labeling theory, what do I mean by labeling? This is it right here. When you label yourself, if you tell somebody you will be a criminal, they are more likely to act in accordance with that if they believe it about themselves. Now, first part, understanding your laziness. So first things first, let's just, elephant out of the room. Laziness is actually a comfortable excuse. When you say you're lazy and you're not doing something, it could also be something else, but I'll get into that. But most of the time, it's just that you're using it as an excuse to avoid finding ways to be more energy efficient, right? Which is ironic because you're actually wasting more energy in the long run, right? So if you really think about it. And an example of this is like if you are lazy about cooking and then you stop cooking, that's an excuse. You use laziness as an excuse. But instead, if you realize that you're actually just energy efficient and that you can't be bothered to cook, so many times every week, then you actually start meal prepping and you're no longer lazy about cooking. Wow, you found a solution, right? That's when you don't use it as an excuse. You actually don't want to use laziness to not do something. You want it to use that feeling of being lazy as a trigger in your head to think like, oh, okay, I'm trying to be energy efficient. Why am I doing that? Am I really required to do that thing? So we'll go into that in a second. Laziness also comes from choice. The reason you're lazy about doing the thing is because you already know that there's an alternative that consumes less energy. You're simply recognizing that you could be more energy efficient. Because if you truly didn't have any other choice, you'd do it, right? Like the fact you have the choice not to do it or the choice to do something else that is less energy intensive, right, makes you become lazy, aka energy efficient, about doing the thing. For example, if food delivery or restaurants didn't exist, you would never feel lazy about cooking. If breathing, like you don't feel lazy about breathing because there's no alternative, right? You're not, oh, I'm too lazy to breathe today. No, you can't. You have to, right? And it's kind of one of those things of like, you can't be lazy about it. So ask yourself, why do I feel lazy? Again, see laziness as a symptom that you're probably not being as energy efficient as you could. Recognize that, reverse engineer it, and optimize your use of energy. That's how you weaponize it. Everybody else just, oh, I'm lazy, they don't do anything. But you actually see, oh, I'm lazy. Oh, why is that? Oh, how can I abuse it to my advantage? And we'll get into that in a second. For example, if you're too lazy to cook every day, like I said, you can meal prep, right? And by the way, pro tip, if ever you thought about giving up because you're too lazy, in reality, you're just not good enough at recognizing a lack of energy efficiency and optimizing it. That's what happened to my friend. He just wasn't good at the fact that, oh, I'm too lazy to do all these things. You're not too lazy. You just haven't found an energy efficient way of doing it. Now, let's go into some more general stuff, right? Sometimes laziness also comes from having bad expectations of yourself. Now, there's going to be a shocker, but your expectations don't match reality. Plain and simple, you have set expectations to do stuff that isn't actually required of you. You're not lazy, you've simply picked not to follow unrealistic expectations in order to save energy. You're actually smart, because guess what? If you spend less energy doing pointless tasks, you have more energy elsewhere, aka in your business. So why clean the dishes if you still have more that you can use in your cabinets? Right? If you have 15 plates, why clean the dishes every time you have one plate? Why not just wait until you have 15 plates and then clean 15 plates at once, which is a lot more energy efficient? Why empty the dryer if you can just pick clothes that you want out of it? Why clean your room if you don't need it to? Like if nobody tells you, actually you have to clean your room. Fun fact, these are not pictures of my house, by the way. Fun fact, the only times I empty my own dryer is when I need to make space for drying more clothes. In which case, my already dried clothes end up on the top of a shelf, not even folded, not organized, not in actual drawers, right? So just to give you an idea, because I don't care, I simply don't. I'm being energy efficient. Why would I fold them and put them somewhere if it doesn't actually make me more energy efficient? And so if doing the things actually benefited you, you'd do them, right? And this is an interesting thing. I called it energy delta, right? If the energy it takes to do the thing, right, like take the clothes, fold them, put them in the drawers, takes more energy than it would save by just not doing the thing, then I'm obviously not going to do it, right? If leaving the clothes in the dryer doesn't change anything about my life and putting them in the drawers does, then why would I do that, right? And even if you're the type of person that has more organized thoughts when things around you are organized, you'll probably notice that you'll still only clean things when the delta is in your favor. For example, if I was closed off in a room where I didn't see the mess anywhere in my house, I would never clean it. Genuinely. Because I couldn't care. It doesn't affect me. I don't feel like there's a clutter around me. I can think clearly. Right? So folding and storing your clothes will take more energy than it will save. Cleaning your room will take more energy than it will save. And so you just have to think, when you're not doing one of these like basic things that society wants you to do for some reason, then it's just because you've noticed that it doesn't actually help you live. Part 3. What if I don't have a choice? Great question. Well, energy consumption is actually a perception based on previous experiences. That's pretty deep. Let that sink in. If you truly need to do the thing and you thought of ways to do it more efficiently but couldn't think of anything, then you can simply change the perceived amount of energy for doing that thing. We actually associate activities with energy. If you don't believe me, try associating an amount of energy with doing something you've never done or never seen anyone do or never even thought of, right? Like try thinking about the amount of energy it takes to design a rocket. You probably know that it's a lot of energy, but you can't think of it. You can't fathom it. You can't touch it. You can't be like, this is exactly the amount of energy. Because unless you've already done it, you have no clue. But if you think about, going and picking up materials, that does damn feel like it's annoying, right? Because you know exactly how much energy it takes you. And if I show you this image and I tell you how much energy does building a plane engine take, you're going to be like, quite a bit. But even then, you are now linking it to a previous experience, which is looking at this image. Think about it, right? You can associate energy to things that you haven't even seen physically, just seen virtually. So How do we use this? Well, we break activities up. Since you associate activities with energy, you can break big activities into multiple smaller activities that you associate less energy with. For example, cold calling might feel like a lot of energy, but the action that make up cold calling don't feel energy intensive at all. Picking up my phone, unlocking it, opening the dialer app, opening a list on my computer, entering a number on my phone, pressing the call button. Each one of these things individually takes very minimal energy. But put together, they feel like they take a lot of energy, right? When you think, oh, I need a cold call again, it's like, oh, I don't want a cold call. When you think of it in this order, and you only focus on one item at a time, it seems very easy, right? And this is the problem, is that humans have come up with words to more easily describe the combination of multiple activities. For example, cold calling. That's an accumulation of all these things. However, the consequence is that these words also combine the perceived amount of energy of all the smaller activities that make up the thing. So when you think of cold calling, you're actually thinking of doing all the things that make up cold calling in one instant. That's the only way your brain can process energy. It's just instantaneous. When you think I will cold call is I will spend X amount of energy. But when you break it up, instead of feeling overwhelmed by the thought of doing the big thing, break it up into smaller, more manageable tasks, and then focus on doing the smaller thing that make up the big thing, or the smaller things that make up the big thing, one thing at a time. I'm going to pick up my phone. Okay, cool. I'm going to open my phone. Okay, cool. I'm going to open the dialer app. When you do it, you'll actually get a feeling of relief, and the task will be a lot easier. If you think, okay, all I have to do is just do these tasks. And this is especially effective if you train your brain to only think about the next thing. Okay, all I'm going to do is open my phone. All right, it's open. What's the next step? Okay, I have to unlock it. Okay, cool. I'm going to do that. And when you trick your brain into this, it becomes really easy to do pretty much anything. You have to go pick up the materials again. Okay, I'm going to get in my car. I'm going to turn the car on. I'm going to start driving. Okay, I'm going to look at where I need to go. Right? One thing at a time. And if it's still hard, you simply have to lower the activation energy. Now, what is that fancy scientific term? Well, if you still have a hard time doing the thing, then simply lower the amount of energy it takes to do that thing. Make doing the thing consume less energy, and make doing anything else in the thing consume more energy, right? Because it's all about the perceived level of energy when you really think about it, right? Because if everything in your life took an extreme amount of energy, then you could do anything that consumes an extreme amount of energy. Anyways, so it's all a perception too, by the way. The more you do things that consume less energy, the less you will want to do things that consume more energy. Just for a fact. Like if you watch TV every day and then you have to come back from work and write standard operating procedures for your staff, SOPs, you're not going to want to do it. You're going to want to watch TV. And so what you do is you basically make writing the SOPs easier. You put your working desk in the middle of the living room. You put your TV in another room. You take the remote. You take the batteries out of the remote. You put all of those in different rooms. You give one of them to your wife. You say, bring this to you to work or something. Only give it to me after like 10 p.m. if I'm even awake at that time. Like whatever it is. And if you lower the initial energy that it takes, doing the thing is actually going to be pretty simple. Like once you're in that state of flow and you're actually writing the stuff, it's super simple. I'm sure you've noticed it so many times. You're going to the job site, earlier on in your career, I'm sure you were on the tools at one point or another, or maybe not. If not, then good, congratulations. But maybe you were, and then you realize, going and doing the painting sucks. But the moment you start, it kind of just, time passes by. Same thing. You just have to get in the mindset that you just have to get started with the thing, so make it take a lot less energy. But either ways, that's my video on why laziness is a fraud and why it's been disserving you your entire life, and why now, by having watched this entire video, hopefully you can understand it, weaponize it, use it to your advantage, and show this video to other people that maybe we can help. And well, have a great rest of your day, and see you in the next one.